Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. And in today's video we have this 2020 Honda Ridgeline and we're going to do the front grille chrome delete installation for this vehicle. So as you can see, this is how it looks before doing the installation on the front panel. It's just a regular chrome grille, and this is how it looks after the installation. So we used the gloss black material, that way we change the look of the front panel and give it a more sportier look as well. If you like the product, link for the product will be linked below. But with that being said, let's get started with the installation video. So before we start with the installation, we need to make sure we prep the front panel. So all you need is water and baby shampoo mixed together in a spray bottle. Once you have your solution, spray it onto a clean microfiber towel and make sure to remove all the contaminants that the panel may have. And also with this one, make sure that the hood is open. That way you clean the inside where the chrome goes underneath the hood, since that section is going to be covered as well. So you could either have it open like this or lift the whole hood to have more access, either or. Once you're done cleaning the panel, make sure everything's completely dry. That way the adhesive on the film is able to tack down on the panel, because if there's still any water residue left over and it touches the adhesive side of the film, it's not going to stick even if you apply heat. So make sure everything's completely clean and dry. So once you finish prepping the panel, now we can start with the installation. So with this one, we're starting off by installing the piece that goes on the top section underneath the hood. So make sure you just align it from one end and you have enough material to cover this section. And all you need to do is follow the body line of the chrome panel for the top section. So just follow it as you go like this. You could use your hand just to guide it and just make sure you're covering the chrome on top. If you need to lift and readjust it, you can. Just be careful not to overstretch the film, and it should reach up to the edge here. So just like that. So once you place the film, grab your squeegee and just start tacking down the whole film to the panel. So just make sure to remove all the air bubbles underneath the film, help it tack down. And for each side here and for this side here, that one will be last. So just focus on this section first and then we'll move on to the edges. So once you finish this piece, now we're moving on to the side section. Okay, so now we're working on this section, and the same process as how we did it for the middle, it would be for this side here. Just make sure you align it to the body line here until you reach to this edge. And with this one, you could tuck in the material underneath the headlight. Just make sure if you need to lift it carefully and readjust it, tuck it inside here and just work your way until you reach it to this side. And then carefully start tagging it down with your squeegee, tuck it underneath to have full coverage. You can always peel the film back just a little bit in order to tuck in the film. And if you have excess material, the excess material will trim off. Just make sure you tack down everything first, make sure everything's covered. And then once you're done, we're going to apply heat to start helping the adhesive on the film activate faster and tack down to the whole section of the panel. So it's the same steps that we're doing here, do it to the other side, and then we'll move on to applying heat to the whole top section. Okay, so once you finish tacking down both sides and the middle, now we move on to applying heat. So just make sure to apply heat all over the film. That way we help the film tack down around the edges and also helping the adhesive on the film activate faster. And then once we're done with that step, we will move on to trimming off the excess material that we don't need. Okay, and then for this one, there is a gap here. You could tuck in underneath if you just lift this plastic cover, or if you don't want to tuck in underneath, you can always trim off the excess material. It would be up to you. So what you can do is lift it and just tuck in. If you don't want to trim off the excess material, just remember to lift it carefully and tuck it underneath, just like that. And you would do the same on the other side if you don't want to trim off the excess material. But anywhere else, like underneath the headlights, if you have extra material, you would trim it off. And then once you're done trimming off, we move on to the next piece. So once you finish the top piece, now we move on with this middle section here. So with this one, just place it right in the middle. That way the film doesn't fall off. And do the same for this section. And you're going to start off by aligning these two sections of the curve of the decal to the curved section of the grill here. So lift the film carefully, not to pull it or stretch it, and just make sure you align it up to the curve, and make sure to use your finger to make sure you have enough material to cover this section of the curve. The other section of the film will cover this section. Once you see you have coverage here, it should be the same on the other side. So lift this, that way this doesn't get stuck, and just place it and it will get fixed afterwards. We just need to make sure we align the middle section first. So lift it carefully here and just follow the path underneath the chrome panel here to align it. And if you need to readjust it, you can. We'll just readjust it after we finish installing it on this side. So just follow the panel until you reach it to this side. And just place it, and that should be good. Right here, you may have excess material. That's fine, because it could be trimmed off easily because there's a small gap here. So just make sure everything's aligned. If you need to readjust it, you can do so. It's just like that. And now when you're installing this section here, just follow the body line here, and then it should wrap underneath this section to cover everything else here. Okay, so now we're going to focus on this middle section here. So start tacking it down. Make sure you remove all the air bubbles that may be underneath the film, just like that. And just do the same for the rest until you finish it up almost to the edge where the headlight is about to start. So before we move on to the side sections of the grill, we're going to apply heat around the curve. That way the film starts tacking down and it doesn't lift as we're working on the other sides. So just apply heat here and work your way until you reach to the other curve. And also don't forget to apply heat on the top section of the grill. Okay, so now we're moving on to this section of the film where the headlight is located. So with this one, just carefully lift the film once again and just make sure you align it and you're covering this section of the chrome. This one's more important since this top section is already covered with the first piece we installed. So just take your time tacking it down until you reach to the curved area here, and just remove any remaining air bubbles that are underneath the film. And for this section, if you do happen to have any fingers, you can always apply heat to help the film loosen up the tension on the film, and then tack it down with your squeegee. And then just do the same for the bottom section. And just make sure you apply heat on this section, that way the film is able to tack down underneath the panel. For this curved area, just apply a little bit of heat and then with your finger help it tack down, and the remaining excess material will be trimmed off, but just make sure you have full coverage here first. Tuck in underneath, cover the chrome on the edge, and you should be good. For this part, if you have any film left over, carefully just insert your blade right in this middle section of the panel. Insert your blade and just trim off this excess material that we don't need. Just take your time, remove that piece. You can use your blade to help it grab out and remove it. And then just reapply heat to help the film tack down since it did lift as we pulled the film. And the same steps that were done here, you would do the same on the other end, and then once you're done, we move on to this middle section here. Okay, so now we're moving on to the last piece of the grill. So with this one, start off wherever you left off on this curved area of the panel. Make sure you align it around the curve, so it should be like that. And all you need to do once you place it is follow the rest of the film to have coverage on this end. Make sure you're covering this section, and you have enough material to cover here as well. So with this one, just start carefully placing it down. Start where the body line is located, so right in the middle, and then just work your way down. So you're going to need to apply heat, that way you help the film tack down, or you can lift it carefully, start right here, and carefully tack it down as you go. Just make sure that if you're doing this method, that you keep it aligned, that way it covers this whole section here. So tack it down as you go, little by little, until you reach to the other end. And to remove these fingers and to have it tacked down here, just apply heat and the film should start tacking down around the curve and also helping shrink the fingers. As you can see, they're shrinking. Just apply a little bit of heat and this should do the trick. And then for this section, the emblem is located here. You're just going to apply heat just to help these two sections tack down. Make sure you lift the film since it is tacking down to the plastic section of the emblem and just tack it down and do the same on top. And then don't forget about this side, just finish it off and then apply heat to help it tack down around the curve. So once you finish tacking down here, just apply heat one more time just to help the film tack down. And now, once we're done here, we could trim off the extra material that we don't need. So for example here, on the top section here, or any other material that's still excess material on each side. But before we do that, just apply heat just to secure the film to the panel and then trim off the extra material. So just trim off the extra material wherever you have any. And then once you're done here, repeat the same steps to the other side of the grill. And then once you're done, post heat. So once you finish with the whole installation for the front grille, the last thing to do is to grab your heat gun and just start post-heating the entire panel. That way we help the adhesive on the film activate faster, and also we're helping any film that is still lifting around the edges tack back down. So just take your time, make sure you're going all around to help the adhesive activate faster on the grill. And then once you're done with this step, you're done with the installation. So just take your time when you're doing this. Thank you for choosing Bogar Tech Design. As a small business, your support means everything to us. If you loved your product, please drop a review. If you have questions or issues, don't forget to message us via email. Once again, thank you so much for the support from our family to yours. So that concludes the installation video for the front grille chrome delete installation for the 2020 Honda Ridgeline. We hope that this video helped you guys out with the installation. If it did, don't forget to drop a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe and turn on that notification bell. That way you're missing any of our upcoming installation videos. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.